whipped cream off of eggplants. Come on, Carol. I chose a classic lesbian fiction novel. It's called Ruby Fruit Jungle. Some of you may have heard of it. Senior year was a victory. Connie and I never had to go to class if we didn't want to. Mr. Beers wrote us blue freedom slips at a moment's notice. The only class we conceded to attend was advanced English with Mrs. Godfrey. She was such a great teacher that we didn't mind learning Middle English to read Chaucer. Carolyn was in the class too. The three of us sat in the front row and fought it out between us for the highest grade. Carolyn was captain of the cheerleaders, and she usually showed up in the lunchroom with her uniform with blue tassels on her white boots. Connie and I scoffed at such things as cheerleading, but Carolyn was the social leader of the school because of it. The three of us also dated 3 boys who were close friends. Whenever we were seen with our respective boyfriends, we paid the usual fondling attention to them demanded by the rigid high school society, but in truth, none of the 3 of us gave a damn about any of them. They were a convenience, something you had to wear when you went to school functions, like a bra. Carolyn was becoming tighter than a violin string because Larry was pushing her to sleep with him. Connie and I told her to go ahead and get it over with because we were sick of hearing her bitch about Larry grabbing her boob at 12:20 a.m. every Saturday night. Because Connie and I were both doing it with our boyfriends with no harmful effects. No one was supposed to know, of course, but everyone did it. It did it behind the hand manner. All that overt heterosexuality amused me. If they only knew, our boyfriends thought they were God's gift because they were sleeping with them, but they were so tragically transparent that we forgave them for their arrogance. Carolyn decided again with her relentless logic that if we won the football game against Stratham, she'd do it with Larry. We creamed them. Carolyn's face walking off the field of honor was not the usual bright, cheery red from screaming her lungs out, but an ashen and drawn white. Connie and I went over to her to bolster her. Then the 3 of us went back to the locker room to wait for our dates. All Princeton haircuts, Legion shoes, and gold cup socks. Clark came out with a gash on his cheek and wanted sympathy. I told him he was a football hero, which he was, having made 2 touchdowns. Connie's Douglas lumbered out. Right tackle tends to grow large, and as she told him he was a football hero. Larry stumbled coming out of the door. He was in such a rush to see Carolyn. She didn't have time to tell him he was a football hero because he gave her a bone-crushing kiss with his return of an Errol Flynn movie and picked her up boldly, placing her in his Stingray convertible. Carolyn nervously waved goodbye, and we all waved back. Then the 4 of us climbed into Doug's car and headed for Wilkie's 4 endless talk about the missed tackle and that fine block interspersed with bananas and hot fudge sundaes. The next morning the phone rang around 9 a.m. It was Carolyn. I have to talk to you right now. Are you awake? I guess I am if I answer the phone. I'm coming over. And can we have breakfast at the Forum? Okay? Okay. 15 minutes later, Carolyn arrived, looking paler than usual. As they slid in the front seat of the car, I asked, "How is Fort Lauderdale High's newest harlot?" She grimaced. "I'm all right, but I have to ask you some questions, so I know I did it all right." Over eggs that looked as though the chickens had rejected them, she began. "Is it always such a mess? You know, when I stood up, all the stuff ran down my legs. Larry said it was sperm. It was so disgusting I nearly barfed. You get used to it. Yeah, and another thing. all of this? Lie there? I mean, what do you really do? There they are all on top of you, sweating and grunting, and it's not all at all like I thought. Like I said, you get used to it. It isn't very mystical, if that's what you're waiting for. I'm not an expert or anything, but different people are different. Larry may not be the hottest lay in the world, so don't base your judgment on one performance. Anyway, they're supposed to get technically better as they grow older. We hit them at the awkward age, I guess. That's not what the medical book says. It says they reach their prime at 18, and we reach ours at 35. How's that for timing? It's also ridiculous. You and Connie must think I'm a real spastic. No, you take it too seriously, that's all. Well, it is serious. No, it isn't. It's a big dumb game, and if you don't mean anything, it's all useless until you get pregnant, of course. Then it means you're screwed. I'll try. Hey, you want to go drinking Friday? Sure. What about you, Connie? What about Connie? She has to go to some journalism conference in Miami for the weekend. Okay, it'll just be the two of us. Friday night, we went to children's playground at Holiday Park. No one came there late at night, and the police patrols were too busy beating the bushes and their own meat to harass the playground. I didn't really like drinking, so I took a few swings to make it look good, but Carolyn got blasted and slid down the fireman's pole, played on the swings, and discarded various pieces of her clothing at each go-around. When she got down to her underwear, she made a beeline for the grounded blue jet and crawled in the open tail to the fuselage. She stayed in there, making airplane sounds, and showed no signs of giving up her piloting. I crawled in after her. It was so tiny and narrow space, so I had to lay down next to her. Carolyn, maybe you should join the Air Force when you graduate. We've got the sound effects down pat. Whoosh! Then she laid down up on her elbows and asked in a coy voice, how does Clark kiss you? On the lips, where else? What do you mean, how does he kiss me? What a dumb question. Want me to show you how Larry kisses? Without waiting for my sober answer, she grabbed me and laid the biggest kiss on my face since Loretta B. Bisland. I doubt he kisses that way. She laughed and kissed me again. Carolyn, do you know what you're doing? Yes, I'm giving you kissing lessons. I'm very grateful, but we better stop. We better stop because one more kiss and you're going to get more than you bargained for, lady. And maybe that's what you're bargaining for. She dropped another one on me this time, with her entire body pressed against mine. That did it. I ran my hands along her side, up to her breasts, and returned her kiss with a vengeance. She encouraged this action and added a few novelties of her own, like nibbling my sensitive ears. By this time, I began to worry about being in the tail end of an old blue jet in the middle of the children's playground in Holiday Park. Carolyn had no such worries and threw off what was left of her clothing. Then she started taking off mine and tossed them up in the cockpit. If I was worried, I got over it. All I could think about was making love with Carolyn Simpson, head cheerleader and second-year chaplain of Fort Lauderdale High School, and a cinch for prom queen. We were in that plane half the night, coming in the wild blue yonder. I know we broke the sound barrier. Eventually the skies began to lighten and the air became chilly. I thought it was time to go. Let's get out of here. I don't want to get out. I want to stay in here for 10 years and play with your breasts. Come on. I reached up and got her underwear and my clothes. Then I backed out of the plane and collected her dew-covered Bermuda shorts, villager blouse, and white worn-out sneakers. Shivering, I ran to the car. Are you hungry? I asked. For you. Carolyn, you're goddamn corny. Let's go to the Egg and You and get something good. I ordered 2 breakfasts for all that energy that I burned up, and Carolyn had bacon and eggs. Molly, you won't tell, will you? I mean, we could really get in trouble. No, I'm not going to tell, but I hate lying. It seems pretty impossible that anyone would ask such a thing, so the coast is clear. I hate to lie too. but people will say we're lesbians. Aren't we? No, we just love each other, that's all. Lesbians look like men and are ugly. We're not like that. We don't look like men, but when women make love, it's commonly labeled lesbianism. So you'd better learn not to cringe when you hear the word. Have you ever done that before? When I was in 6th grade, but that was about 7 centuries ago. Did you? At camp this summer, I thought I'd die from the fright, but she was so terrific that this other counselor, I never thought of her as a lesbian, you know? We spent all our time together, and one night she kissed me, and we did it. I didn't stop to think about it at the time. It felt too good. Do you write her? Sure. We'll try to go to the same college, Molly. Do you think you can love more than one person at a time? I mean, I love you, and I love Susan. I guess so. I'm not jealous, if that's what you're after. Kinda. I want to know something. You want to know something else? It's a lot better than doing it with Larry. I mean, there's no comparison, you know? That I know. We laughed and ordered 2 hot fudge sundaes at 6 in the morning.